I never meant to break his heart, but I was more in love with the wedding than the man. My name is Emily Harper. And if there's one thing I've learned in my 28 years, it's that sometimes the stories we tell ourselves are the most dangerous lies of all. This is the tale of how I turned what could have been a beautiful romance into a chaotic mess, all because I was chasing a dream that had nothing to do with love and everything to do with a white dress, a sparkling ring, and the envy of everyone on my social media feed. It started innocently enough at a housewarming party thrown by my coworker Mia in the bustling suburbs of Oak Ridge, a quaint little town just outside the city where I'd moved 2 years ago. For a fresh start after a string of failed relationships, I almost skipped the party that night. Work had been exhausting. I'm a marketing coordinator at a mid-sized firm, always juggling deadlines and client demands, and the last thing I wanted was to plaster on a smile and make small talk with strangers. But Mia had insisted, promising good food, better drinks, and maybe even some cute single guys. Rolling my eyes, I'd agreed, figuring at worst I'd grab a plate of appetizers and bail early. Little did I know that decision would set off a chain of events that would consume the next year of my life. The house was packed when I arrived, laughter echoing off the walls, the air thick with the scent of fresh-baked hors d'oeuvres and mingling perfumes. I weaved through the crowd, grabbing a glass of wine from the makeshift bar in the kitchen when I spotted him. Alex Thompson, standing by the snack table, casually popping a cheese cube into his mouth while chatting with a group of Mia's friends. He wasn't the type one usually went for. My past boyfriends had been the brooding, tattooed artists or the charming but unreliable musicians who promised the world and delivered nothing but heartbreak. Alex was different, clean-shaven with neatly trimmed dark hair, wearing a crisp button-down shirt that screamed reliable adult. He had a steady job as a software engineer at a tech company downtown, the kind of stability I'd been craving after too many nights wondering if my latest fling would even text back. Our eyes met across the room and he flashed a warm, confident smile that made my stomach flutter unexpectedly. Before I knew it, he was walking over, introducing himself with a firm handshake that lingered just a second too long. Hi, I'm Alex. Mia's mentioned you before. Emily, right? The one who designed those killer promo graphics for her last project. I laughed, flattered that he'd heard about me, and we fell into easy conversation. We talked about everything, our favorite hiking trails in the nearby Willow Creek Park, the latest binge-worthy shows on streaming, even our shared disdain for overpriced coffee shops. By the end of the night, as the party wound down, he asked for my number. No games, no hesitation, just straightforward interest that felt refreshingly adult. That same evening, as I climbed into bed back at my cozy apartment in the heart of Oak Ridge, my phone buzzed. It was Alex. Had a great time meeting you tonight. Hope we can grab coffee soon? I stared at the message, a goofy grin spreading across my face. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to imagine a future that didn't end in disappointment. Little fantasies danced in my head, weekend getaways, cozy dinners, maybe even a house with a picket fence someday. I texted back immediately, sealing the start of what I thought would be my happily ever after. Our first date was at a quaint cafe in downtown Oak Ridge, the kind with exposed brick walls and artisanal lattes. Alex arrived early, holding a bouquet of wildflowers he'd picked up on the way. We talked for hours, sharing stories from our childhoods. He grew up in a small family in the neighboring town of Riverbend, the only child of supportive parents, who owned a local bookstore. I opened up about my own upbringing in a big, boisterous family in the city, with 3 siblings and parents who were always pushing us to achieve more. By the time we parted ways with a tentative hug, I was hooked. Our second date was a hike in Willow Creek Park, where we laughed over my clumsy attempts to navigate the trails and shared a picnic he'd packed himself. On the third, we went to a comedy show, and afterward, as we walked to my car, he kissed me under the streetlights, a soft, genuine kiss that made my heart race. Stop. By then, I was confiding in my best friend Sarah, who lived just a few blocks away, in Oak Ridge. Sarah, I think he's the one. I gushed over brunch at our favorite spot, a sunny diner called the Morning Brew. Sarah raised an eyebrow, her fork paused midair. Emily, you've been on 3 dates. Slow down. But I couldn't. I'd spent my 20s watching my college friends pair off, post engagement photos on Instagram, and plan lavish weddings while I nursed wounds from guys who ghosted or cheated. My ex, Tyler, had been the worst, publicly humiliating me by flirting with other women at parties, leaving me with a deep-seated fear of vulnerability. Alex was different, kind, attentive, with a stable life that promised security. I started a secret Pinterest board that very week, pinning dream wedding dresses, floral arrangements, and venue ideas. It was premature, sure, but when you know, right? Things escalated quickly. Within 2 months, we were inseparable, spending weekends at his modern apartment in Riverbend or mine in Oak Ridge. We'd cook dinners together, him grilling steaks while I tossed salads, binge-watch series on Netflix, and fall asleep tangled in each other's arms. In private, our connection was electric. I'd whisper how perfect we were, how fate had brought us together. But in public, a strange discomfort crept in. The first time it happened was at a casual gathering with Mia and a few coworkers at a local bar called the Rusty Anchor. Alex reached for my hand under the table and I instinctively pulled away, laughing it off as not wanting to be that couple. He looked puzzled but didn't push. At family events, like my sister's birthday dinner at an Italian restaurant in the flat, and the family events, like my sister's birthday dinner at an Italian's birthday dinner at an Italian restaurant in the future, in the Fault-Maitre city, I tense up if he tried to kiss my cheek, creating subtle distance. I blamed it on lingering trauma from Tyler or maybe just a personal aversion to PDA. Deep down, though, it felt like admitting our relationship publicly would make it too real, too vulnerable to scrutiny. Despite this, my wedding fantasies grew. By month 3, I was casually hinting at rings, pointing out styles during TV commercials, or sharing Instagram reels of proposals. Alex never recoiled. He'd smile and say, "One day." Encouraged, I began researching venues in Oak Ridge and Riverbend, bookmarking elegant spots like the Willow Grove Estate with its sprawling gardens and crystal chandeliers. I made notes on guest lists, color schemes, soft pastels with gold accents, and even potential honeymoons to tropical islands. Sarah warned me again during one of our weekly coffee meets. "Emily, you're getting way ahead. Have you even talked about marriage?" I waved her off. When it's right, it just happens. You lock it down before someone else does. I remember a pivotal dinner with my friends Laura and her husband David, who tied the knot the previous year. We met at a trendy bistro in downtown Oak Ridge, the kind with dim lighting and fusion cuisine. Laura was affectionate with David, touching his arm, leaning into him, and I caught Alex watching them with a longing gaze. Later, as we drove home in his reliable sedan, he asked softly, "Why don't we do that stuff in public? The hand-holding, the little kisses?" I fidgeted in my seat, staring out at the passing streetlights. I'm just not big on PDA. It's cheesy. But the truth was more complicated. Displaying affection felt like exposing a part of myself I wasn't ready to share, like it would invite judgment from others. Yet, in my mind, I was already envisioning our wedding vows, the cheers from family, the Instagram-worthy photos. Looking back, that disconnect should have been a red flag. I was obsessed with the endpoint, the ring, the ceremony, the status, while ignoring the journey. I'd attended too many weddings alone, scrolling through hashtags like #happily-ever-after while feeling like the perpetual bridesmaid. Now it was my turn and I wasn't letting awkwardness derail it. Subtly, I began improving Alex, suggesting an edgier haircut at his next salon visit, buying him fitted shirts that matched my aesthetic, even advising on career moves to climb the ladder faster at his tech firm. He was eager to please, always saying, "If it makes you happy, Em." My mom noticed the mismatch first, during a family barbecue in our backyard in the city. "You talk about this boy like he's your future, but you introduce him as my friend Alex." To everyone, she pointed out, flipping burgers on the grill. I shrugged, don't want to jinx it. In reality, publicly claiming him felt off, like he didn't quite fit the polished image I built in my head. Privately, though, I was all in. I'd sketch house plans for our future home, a cozy 2-story inn. Riverbend with a home office for him and a garden for me. I'd brainstorm kids' names, Ethan for a boy, Lily for a girl. I'd research school districts, prioritizing ones with high ratings in Oak Ridge. But in public? I'd dodge his arm around my shoulders at the movies or shift away on park benches. The climax came at my cousin Sophia's engagement party at a lavish hall in the city, decorated with twinkling lights and fresh flowers. My extended family was there, including Aunt Margaret, who never missed a chance to probe about my love life. "When's your turn, Emily?" "You're not getting any younger," she'd tease, her voice carrying over the clinking glasses. I was on edge, fielding questions all night, so I clung to Alex more than usual, parading him as proof I wasn't the family's last single. We sat at a table with my parents and Aunt Margaret, who gushed about Sophia's fiancé. Squeezing Alex's hand under the table, I felt a surge of competitiveness. See? I've got a good one too. Then Alex turned to me, his eyes intense. I just want everyone to know, he said loudly, that I've fallen head over heels in love with Emily. She's the most amazing thing in my life. The table froze. All eyes on me. Instead of joy, panic surged. Trapped. Exposed. I forced a laugh, a shrill, awkward sound, and blurted, "Don't make things weird, Alex. We're just having fun." His face crumpled, heartbreak etching lines I'd never seen. My mom gasped. Dad buried himself in his napkin. Aunt Margaret's eyebrows arched in shock. The silence was excruciating, broken only by distant music. For the rest of the night, I overcompensated, perching on his lap, peppering kisses, calling him babe excessively. But the damage was irreversible. Everyone had witnessed the crack in my facade, the truth that I loved the idea of a relationship. More than the man himself. The drive home was tense, Alex gripping the wheel in silence while I rambled excuses. It came out wrong. My family stresses me out. By the time we reached his apartment, the air was thick with unspoken hurt. That night marked the shift, though our relationship dragged on for another 10 months. It was the moment I realized my obsession wasn't with Alex, but with the wedding fantasy I cultivated. The week following what I mentally dubbed the incident was a nightmare of awkwardness. Alex withdrew, his text shorter, his touches tentative. I knew I'd wounded him deeply, but instead of a sincere apology, I launched into damage control. Not out of genuine love, though I convinced myself it was, but because I'd invested 8 months and wasn't abandoning my plans. I cooked his favorite meals, lasagna with extra cheese, just how he liked it. I initiated intimacy more often, wearing the lingerie he'd bought me for Valentine's Day. I planned surprise dates, like a picnic in Willow Creek Park with his beloved craft beers. But when he broached the subject, what happened at the party? That hurt, I deflect. I was caught off guard. Public stuff freaks me out. Once I fabricated a story about Tyler publicly declaring love only to cheat later, tears streaming as I spun the lie. Alex's face softened, pulling me into a hug. I'm sorry you went through that. Guilt twisted in my gut, but so did a thrill. A power I could manipulate the narrative. Meanwhile, my wedding preparations intensified secretly. During lunch breaks at work, I'd tour venues like the elegant Rosewood Manor in Oak Ridge, charming the coordinators with tales of our imminent engagement. I tried on dresses with Sarah at a bridal boutique, twirling in lace gowns while lying to Alex about errands with Mom. Sarah frowned in the dressing room mirror. This is backward, Emily. He hasn't proposed. I snapped. I'm being proactive. Time waits for no one. My social media painted a rosy picture, filtered couple selfies with captions like grateful for my rock hashtag couple goals. In reality, I still cringed at his hand-holding attempts during grocery runs at the local market. Criticism crept into his laugh too loud at comedies, his style too casual. You'd look amazing in slim-fit jeans, I'd suggest, masking it as helpfulness. He'd comply, but I sensed resentment building. Money issues emerged. I'd forget my wallet on dates, expecting Alex to pay. I'm saving for our future, I'd think, diverting paychecks to a secret account for wedding cost deposits on photographers, florists. When he suggested splitting bills evenly, I'd feign offense. Relationships aren't transactional, Alex. Hypocritical, since our dynamic was increasingly one-sided. I truly believed I was the victim, venting to Sarah over wine at her place. He's so needy, always wanting PDA. She'd nod sympathetically. He should appreciate what he has. No one challenged why I recoiled from affection with the man I claimed to adore. Alex, bless him, wanted to believe. That made my guilt sharper. He was real while I was curating an illusion. Things escalated 3 months later. Alex questioned my deleted texts one night in bed, his voice laced with doubt. My pulse raced drying from work had been my venting. Buddy, our chats turning flirty. Phone clutter. I lied, but suspicion lingered. I added a passcode, took calls privately, created histories after venue searches. His parents' visit for dinner at his apartment was disastrous. His mom, a warm woman with a keen eye, noticed my interruptions, my eye rolls at his anecdotes. You two seem off, she said over roast. Alex changed topics swiftly. Later, he confided, my parents have concerns. I exploded. They're meddling. Deep down, I knew they'd pierced my act-out exhaustion set in from my double life, wedding planner by day, distant girlfriend by night. Once, Alex found a bridal magazine under the couch. Hinting at something? He joked. I accused him of snooping, sparking our first big fight. Words flew. If you had ambition, I'd be thrilled about our future. His hurt silenced me momentarily, but I pressed on, unloading resentments. Post-fight, a wall rose. Alex stopped pursuing closeness. I grew impatient. My timeline demanded engagement. I amped hints, leaving ring sites open, gushing over friends' proposals, lingering at jewelers during mall trips. Pouts followed his inaction, unbeknownst to me. Alex investigated, finding credit statements in my car, $3,000 venue deposit, email confirmations for dress fittings, even prenup drafts skewed in my favor. He observed quietly, asking loaded questions about finances, watching my phone habits. Oblivious, I plunged deeper into fantasy. Our anniversary dinner at the upscale lakeside bistro was my delusion's height. I'd booked it expecting a proposal, hinting via friends, leaving proposal articles open. Heart pounding, I dressed in a red gown, tipping the waiter for photos. Alex arrived solemn with a bag. We need to talk future, he said. I beamed until he produced evidence. Statements, receipts, text screenshots, prenup printouts. I've collected this for weeks, he murmured. To confirm I'm not mad. Denial, not mine. Anger, you spied. Tears, I love you too much. Unfazed, he pinpointed. The deposit kills me. You booked a venue without me. Manipulation? Stunned, I had no retort. What hurts most, he continued, is pushing me away like at Sophia's party. You wanted the wedding, not us. His words unveiled me, calculating, unloving. Tired, sad, he concluded I deserve better. So do you real love, not a show? He left, me amid debris, the waiter awkwardly inquiring about celebrations. Home, Alex had packed. No scene, just end. Brutal. Post breakup, I rewrote, social posts healing from unready love. Sympathy poured. To friends, he feared commitment. Witnesses cut off. Venue deposit uncancelled. Future use. Emptiness hit. I dated rebounds, repeating patterns, secret planning, resentment. None endured. Stalked Alex online. 3 months, group photo with Olivia, coworker. Jealousy raged, I knew his gaze. Scrolled her profiles, fabricating flaws. Accidental coffee shop meet. Sweater he liked, casual chat. Suggested reunion. Declined. Firmly, drunk text, blocked. Pathetic peaks. Fake account messaged Olivia warnings. Recognized, blocked. Mutual warned of legal. Shame avalanche. Manipulation, lies, harassment. Blamed parents, society, Alex. 6 months later, their wedding photos. Simple botanical garden, genuine joy. Candid vow shot gutted me, no one looked at me thusly. I never allowed. Trashed binder. Cried for lost self. Therapy started performing. Still, but trying. Single, reconciling with Sarah. Sometimes ponder, if I'd said, I love you? Vulnerability embraced? Required different me, authentic over control. I'm striving. No more wedding plans, sans love. Perhaps someday, real connection.